Welcome to Cyber Bytes, your weekly dose in the latest in cybersecurity news. I'm your host, Edwin Kwan, and today's stories include Apple patching a zero-day underactive attack to a new digital identity pilot here in New South Wales, and even a sneaky fake 7-zip site turning people's PCs into proxy bots. So let's get right in and bite into this week's stories. First up, Apple has just pushed out an urgent round of security updates, and it addresses a critical zero-day, and that's CVE 2026-2700. This vulnerability was discovered in something called DYLD, the Dynamic Link Editor, and that helps Apple devices manage shared code. The scary part is attackers could use it to run their own malicious code, basically taking over your device if they already have memory write access. According to Apple, this flaw is actively exploited in targeted attacks aimed at specific individuals, often the hallmarks of state-sponsored or APT, Advanced Persistent Threat campaigns. Google's threat analysis group was the one to flag it, and if they are involved, it usually means high-value targets are in play. The update covers all the usual aspects: the iPhone, the iPads, Macs, Apple Watches, Apple TV, and the Vision Pro headset. The safe versions now include iOS 18.7.5 and macOS Tahoe 26.3. So if you haven't already, hit the update now, and it's one of those fixes you don't want to be snoozing on. Now let's shift closer to home. A new government report has revealed that most Australian government agencies are still dropping the ball on cyber incident reporting. According to the Commonwealth's Cybersecurity Posture Report, just 35% of government entities reported at least half of their observed cyber incidents to the Australian Signals Directorate, and that's only a 3% bump from the previous year. This is really important because it leaves blind spots in national threat intelligence. Without full reporting, ASD's visibility is like looking at a jigsaw puzzle with half the pieces missing. You can't see the whole threat landscape. The report also shines a light on some harsh truths: outdated legacy systems, lack of funding, and only a quarter of agencies reaching maturity level 2 on ASD's Essential 8 framework, which includes basic things like multi-factor authentication and application whitelisting. The result? Agencies are still playing catch-up, even as state-sponsored attackers grow bolder. Now, over in New South Wales, Service New South Wales has just kicked off a new pilot for a digital identity verification system, and it could change how we prove who we are online. The pilot's currently voluntary, and it's limited to residents aged 16 and over who are part of the toll rebate scheme. So instead of scanning your driver's license or passport every time, you verify your identity once using facial recognition and your key documents. After that, the system cross-checks your info with official databases, and you're good to go for future services. It's almost like the Apple Wallet for government ID. Everything's centralized, privacy enhanced, and reusable. The system also means you only share just enough information to prove your ID. No more handing over your full driver's license when all someone's need is a proof of age. Service New South Wales says the long-term goal is to give residents greater control over their identity data and limit how much information gets passed around between agencies. If this pilot goes well, it could pave the way for a statewide, maybe even national rollout. And if you're wondering, privacy and authentication safeguards are built in, and it will be interesting to see how it holds up when it scales up. Okay, now let's talk about one of the sneakiest scams we've seen lately. A fake website for 7-Zip spreading Trojan malware that turns home PCs into proxy nodes. Cyber researchers from Malwarebytes found that 7zip.com, which is not the official 7zip.org site, was distributing a poison version of the popular open source archiving tool. When users download what they thought was a safe installer, they not only got the app itself, but some additional nasty add-ons. These include scripts that quietly change firewall settings, created background services, and opened their computer as part of a network that criminals could piggyback on. What makes this campaign especially dangerous is its sophistication. Digitally signed malware, rotation of command domains, DNS over HTTPS for evasion, and even anti-debugging tricks. And if it wasn't enough, the same group seems to be using Trojanized installers for Hola VPN, TikTok, and also WhatsApp. This is just a reminder that we should always download tools only from their official sites. We should check the certificates because one wrong click can lend your bandwidth and your identity to the cyber criminals. And now we're on to our last story, and we'll wrap up with something almost nostalgic. Notepad, that humble text editor from Windows 95 days. Well, it turns out it's not as harmless as it looks. Microsoft recently patched a remote code execution vulnerability, CVE 2026-2841, in Windows 11 Notepad. This one let attackers run arbitrary code through Markdown links. What the vulnerability does is that inside a simple text, it could be hidden a clickable link. But instead of opening a web page, it silently launches a malicious installer. And because Notepad's new Markdown support made its link clickable, attackers exploited that feature to bypass warnings. Microsoft's February Patch Tuesday updates now fix this by adding a "Are you sure?" prompt anytime a non-standard link like FAR or MS App Installer tries to execute. It's a classic case of functionality meeting exploitation. The more features you add, the more corners attackers try to find to slip through. Thankfully, since Notepad now updates automatically through the Microsoft Store, most users won't have to do anything. They just have to make sure they don't pause those store's updates. So the next time you open something that looks safe, remember, even a plain text file isn't always as plain anymore. And that's it for this week's Cyber Bytes. Remember, patches are protection, awareness is armor, and skepticism is your best firewall. I'm Edwin Kwan, signing off. Stay safe, stay smart, and we'll see you next time.